Okay, wow. Students have been really fast. I'm glad you're using your holidays to learn. So that's a really great thing. You started working on it. Very good. Very good. So we will have our learning plan link shared once more in the WhatsApp groups for you to have access to, and I would be posting it here on the chat box as well so that you can access them. Okay, great. So no longer are we waiting. Okay, if you have any queries, I would be taking it towards the end, or you can reach out to anybody on the team. It's kind of a holiday season, so we would be getting back to you as soon as possible. All right. So we are live and we're going to be starting. Welcome, students, to the Masterclass 1 of our winter certification program on data analytics, where you would be using Python to drive your data into decisions. All right. I'm so glad that all of you had joined in and that we have an active participation right now with my chat box flooding. And I'm so glad that you're all here. Thank you so much for taking out the time to attend and be a part of this session and learn. Learning is always great, right? So before getting into the session, okay, all the people who have joined us on YouTube live, all your updates would be reaching you. I'm so glad that you're here. All right. Sorry that Zoom is full, but every update that comes our way will be reaching you on WhatsApp as well. So please keep an eye on the WhatsApp to get your updates or anything that is shared. If you have questions, those who are watching us live, you have questions, please post it to one of us on the team and we would be sharing it here with the speaker. So you don't have to worry about not having your questions addressed. All right. Regarding the learning plan, you will have to be submitting your learning plan completion certificate this Friday, which I know is tomorrow. So please do work on it and work on it, start working on it, finish the courses and be ready by Friday. All right. And last but not the least, regarding the assignment that is to be shared, students, I hope you're listening, all right, and please be attentive regarding this. Your second assignment or the deliverable that I had mentioned during the orientation session would be as follows. Through the three masterclasses that you have, the speaker, Mr. Venkat, will be sharing about different things that you can do, how to do data analysis and how to visualize data. So he would be sharing certain steps with you, certain tasks for you to do. And we require you to have proof of all the same. So today, the task that he is sharing with you, I request you to take a screenshot of it. When it comes to analysis, when it comes to visualization, you are requested and expected to have your assignments working on, side by side working on as the masterclass is going. All right. So as we do each masterclass, you will be asked to, I will be addressing your queries, but please listen to what I'm saying right now. All right. Okay. So during the three masterclasses that you'll be attending, you will be given certain tasks to do. The same has to be taken a screenshot of, or if it's visualization, the graphs, if it's analysis, again, a screenshot. The same has to be compiled into a presentation and shared with us when we share a Google form for that submission. I repeat, the tasks that are given to you during the session, a screenshot of the same, or if it's visualization pictures of the same, whichever the task that is given, has to be added into a presentation, compiled, and shared with us towards the ending of our different masterclasses. All right. So I will be sharing this link with you towards maybe the last masterclass or that evening or the next day morning. So you can work on your presentation and share it with us. Your presentation, definitely the starting slide has to say your name and college and the name of the program so that we can identify who you are. And the rest would be as followed as I mentioned. All right. So I will be sharing a message about this as well on WhatsApp so you can read it and be prepared. All right. Coming into our session, I know we started late, so we will be starting off without much ado. Um, the speaker for Masterclass 1, where he would be introducing analysis and AI to you, is Mr. Venkat T. Karthik. Okay. Mr. Karthik has more than 15 years of experience as a data scientist and is an expert on R, SAS, Python, predictive analysis, and machine learning. He currently works with a leading multinational analytics consulting firm as a senior manager, leading several data scientists on core data science projects. He holds a postgraduate degree in MSc Statistics from the Madras University of Madras, and we're so glad to have you here, sir, to take a session for the students. So, without much ado, I'm handing over the session to you. Thank you so much, students, and please do be attentive and interactive. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you very much. Thanks for the introduction, and I'm really glad, first of all, that this session is in the evening because most of my sessions end up in the afternoon time, and I have a tough time keeping people awake, given the topics that we generally cover. Everyone has a nice lunch, and people are sitting and listening, right? They feel that I'm singing for them, but I hope now it's not going to be the case. Okay, so all of you all, first of all, I'm really happy to be here and be part of this session to give you an idea of how this world of analytics works and what happens in this field of analytics, right? I want to give you an overview of it. Okay, so that's the plan. And this 1 hour session or one and a half hour, whatever we go ahead with the time, right? I want you all to just listen to it, absorb the content because this is quite a pretty big field. Okay, it's a very big field, but it will give you an idea of what are the kind of things happening in the current world. Okay, so and based on your preferences or based on your interest, you can pick up which line of topic would you be interested to take it further. Okay, all right. So with that, and one last thing I think I would like to say is that if you have any questions, post it. But given there are so many audience, right? I'll try to pick up the questions and try to answer them on the fly. And if there is something that is missed, probably I'll ask Anne or someone to share the questions and I can answer them later. Okay. All right. So let me share my screen and let's get started. All right. I hope you are able to see my screen and okay. And could you confirm if you're able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
sir.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay. All right. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So before I get started, I would like you all to just put in what are the buzzwords or the kind of words you have heard about when we talk about analytics, AI. What are the kind of words that you all have come across? You can put it in the chat. Data cleaning, okay, graphs, analysis of data, visualization, EDA, pie charts, NLP. Wow, very good. Machine learning, agents. Oh, you're far advanced than what I'm going to talk then. Good. Power BI, data wrangling, R, model development, Tableau. Okay. Wow, this is very good actually. This is very interesting to see that y'all have done a good background search on these type of topics, and I'm seeing the kind of words you're bringing are really interesting, right? And hearing you or seeing the words that you're putting, I know that you have done some kind of a look into all these things. This is really good. Okay, that's a good start actually. And that is the plan that I will give you an overview of how this works now. Okay, with all these topics that you have mentioned, right? Statistical analysis, data wrangling, data analysis, visualization, Power BI, agentics, right? So all these things are going to help you in this world of analytics to understand how these things come together and how it works. Okay. All right. So how does the field of analytics work, right? So it has a lot of things involved in it. First thing that when you naturally deal with analytics is maths. Okay, I think you cannot escape from that. And I think that is the most critical part in this field of work, having a understanding of mathematics. Okay, and probably, in school days and maybe in the college days also, you would be learning a lot of mathematics and you would be seeing like, where does this get used in the real world? This is where it gets used. Okay, so whatever you have learned in your maths about sines, cosines, trigonometry, all these things, right? They all get applied over here in the world of analytics. So maths is the most important thing that you have to be comfortable with. Then comes statistics. Okay, so statistics, as you all may be aware, right? So if I, generally, so I come with a background in statistics. Even before I was probably exposed to this world of statistics, right? I also wondered when people asked me about statistics, it was mean median mode. But it is quite bigger than that. Okay, it's not just these three things that is all about statistics. There are so many interesting things inside statistics. And statistics is the most important thing which gets a lot of importance in analytics. How I would generally put statistics is like, maths has a lot of theoretical things in it, right? Statistics is more application oriented, I would say. And also it's more like, I like to put it this way, like, it's a nice wrapper around maths. And what it helps you is the values that come out of that help you understand or interpret it with the real world. That is the beauty of statistics. So like for example, when I say the mean of or the average of Indian population is 32 years, so what I get to know is that, okay, it's a young population, it's a working population. Okay, so these numbers help me interpret. So that is where statistics becomes really helpful. So that is another area of study which is very important for the field of analytics. Okay, so statistics is another thing which probably you must know or learn when you are entering this analytics field. Data analysis. See, math, statistics set up the base for you to understand the concepts. But data analysis is the part where you analyze data. And one very important thing over here in the field of analytics is there is no set procedure. Okay, there is nothing like, you follow this step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, your task is done. No, it doesn't work like that. And that is the beauty of it also, right? Because you have the freedom to be as creative as possible to come up with a solution. That is the best part of analytics. You can design the solution based on the problem statement that is put in front of you. That is where data analysis is very subjective. Each of us, when presented with the data, will start analyzing that in different ways because each of us look at it from different perspectives, right? So there are different ways of coming up with a solution. So what happens? There are n number of solutions possible, and from that you pick up the best solution. So that is the beauty that you have over here. So data analysis becomes very important. How you think through the analytical thinking, right? What they say is very important here. You need to be creative. There is no one going to tell you follow this path. What they will show you is they'll give you the tools and technologies saying, all these things can help you. But what you make out of that is up to you. So that is where data analysis becomes very important. Okay, students, I see a lot of questions which have come up. I will be picking up few and some of them will be answered when we go ahead, right? You will get answers to them as well. What is the difference between data science and data analytics? You will get the answer when we go further. Confusion matrix and how to find trends, right? Yeah, these are all very specific to certain topics. So probably I'll give you a high level when we go into the discussions, okay? So that you get an understanding. Okay, next, when you come to the part of algorithms, so when we come to the algorithms, so in this algorithms, there are parts of the mathematical part and the statistical part which make use of lot of algorithms to create your way of designing a solution. Okay, so algorithms help you in processing the data and making it much better. Okay, they make it faster, they make the computation faster, and there are steps in which can help you improve the results. So learning about algorithms also becomes important. Okay, so algorithms are also another part which you will have to start understanding to make use of them. Okay, so algorithm, again, each of these topics, right, they have a way of going further in depth of them and picking up and learning how they make use of it. Okay, yeah, I'm still on the first slide. I'm just moving on the topics first. Okay, and then we'll go to the next part. Okay, coming to the next one, which is computer science. So see, earlier I would say, right, it was analytics was more focused on the data part, analysis part. Uh, and what happens is right now in this computer, now in this area of analytics, right, it has become very important that you know programming languages or you know to make use of softwares to build your solution. It is a must. And it becomes very important that you have a background, a little bit good knowledge, and practice a little bit more on the computer science side. You need to make sure that you start practicing programming, because earlier I would say it would have been much easier, probably just analyzing data could have done the job for you. But right now it doesn't work that way. You need the knowledge of computer science. Okay, so that's the reason why knowing computer science becomes very important. And then comes finally the domain expertise. Domain expertise means, see, you would be working in different industries, right? It could be probably a retail, it could be, let's say, healthcare, or you could work in e-commerce, right? So there are different domains. Knowing about that domain also becomes very important. You need to understand what are the terminologies in that domain, what are the kind of topics that are discussed in that domain, like what kind of problem statements that are used or solved in that problem in that particular domain. So all these become very important for you to start working in this field of analytics. Okay, so majorly the point to a takeaway from this is that it is a combination of several things from this. Okay, it is a combination of all these things that make you to start understanding and working on the problem statements over here. Okay, all right, now you must be hearing a lot on about how these words, right? You will be hearing a lot of these terminologies which are there on, you would have been coming across online or probably in during some sessions and all, right? So you keep hearing the words artificial intelligence or machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, data science, right? So you are hearing all these things, right? So each of this, right, is a, it's all, this whole thing comes under the umbrella of AI. Okay, and each of them has certain specific use cases or problem statements with whose help you can solve it. So for example, like, AI as such is a way, or let's say it's kind of a technique or a topic, okay, which covers everything which helps the machines and the humans interaction. So what we are trying in the area of artificial intelligence, it's more like making the computers understand about the human language or human behavior, or also making decisions, right? So that you can automate a lot of your processes which don't require you to be involved 24 bar 7 if your availability. This not only helps you improve the process, it also makes the system much faster, and also some of many of the monotonous tasks, right, can be automated. So AI helps in doing all these kind of tasks. So one subtopic under AI is machine learning. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is nothing but, just a minute, guys, just a minute. Sorry, just give me a minute. Just a minute, I'm just trying to. Yeah. Okay. So machine learning is basically a subfield of the artificial intelligence where you try to understand the data of how a structured data can be made use for the development or coming up with a solution. So when I say structured data, right, it is very simple. So it's like your Excel file, right? When you have an Excel file, you have data in rows and columns kept for you, right? So these data, which is there in rows and columns, is called a structured data. So this structured data, what it does is you have information stored in this format which can help you design a solution. And to solve these kind of problem statements with data sets which come in this structure, you can make use of machine learning algorithms. There are again different types of it. We will discuss that as well. But the overall picture is that machine learning can.
Karthik, sorry to interrupt you. I think the slides aren't moving. Can you please check?
Yeah, are
Because
you able to see the slide moving?
I'm just seeing the first slide and I'm also
Oh,
getting messages.
still the first slide. Okay. Let me.
Karthik, I think you can share your entire window and then press in the PPT.
Okay, okay, okay. Let me do that. Okay. Yeah, are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, yes, great.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yes.
Right. Okay, perfect. All right. So sorry about that. I hope you are seeing that now, right? Okay, great. Okay, so now when we are talking about machine learning, so machine learning is basically about structured data. How we can make use of this structured data to create models. And I may commonly use this word models, but actually these are some mathematical equations to create out of this data set. Okay, so this is called machine learning. This part is called as machine learning. Now, actually, in the recent past, there has been a lot of research that has been happening and lot of development also that has happened, because of which there has been a lot of interest in this area called deep learning. Okay, you will hear a lot about this. I'm sure you guys are now hearing a lot about chat gpt and all those other things, large language models and all, right? In the background they make use of all these deep learning neural networks. So what is this deep learning is? It's another area under this machine learning or under this umbrella of AI, where it is making use of extremely complex networks, which they call it as neural networks. Okay, it's like it's actually got inspired from our human brain. Okay, like the amount of decision making that we do in our brain, right? Simultaneously you are making a lot of decisions, like even my hand movement, or even maybe I'm in my mind I'm thinking what should be next or what I should talk. There's a lot of processing happening inside the brain, right? It's extremely complex. It is actually inspired from that. So that's why this is also known as neural networks. Okay, and neural networks are extremely complex systems or algorithms which can process your data and come up with answers for you, like how ChatGPT is doing it for you, right? You put a question and it answers for you, right? So that's how the background makes use of these algorithms, which are based on neural networks, extremely complex. And it's a lot of black box. Black box means you don't understand sometimes what is happening in between, because it's extremely complex. So because of that, what happens is interpreting, right? Understanding what is happening in the middle is difficult. But what you can get from the end result, that becomes very important. So the end output, right, is something more useful for us. For example, let's say what is like the input processing and the output, right? Let's say you want to find out, given a customer, whether this customer will buy your product or not, right? Let's say the input is that I have the customer's characteristics like the age of the customer, the buying pattern of the customer, how much money does he spend, how many times does he shop, what point of the day does he come for shopping. So all these characteristics of the customer I have, what kind of products he has bought previously, these all become the input. And then it is sent to these neural networks. The neural networks do a lot of processing to understand the behavior or the patterns present in the data, and they can tell you whether this customer will buy the next product or not. Okay, so this is a very simple example for you to understand what is the output. The output will be a result telling whether the customer will buy your product or not. Okay, so that's a way of how these neural networks are used. And now recent past, again, there has been a lot of interesting development happening in the field of generative AI. And I'm sure you guys are also exposed to all these things, as in we are all like right now end users of all these generative AI, right? I'm sure you would have seen in WhatsApp all the AI features that are getting integrated. These are all generative AI. I don't know if you guys have tried, but if you type in the chat saying generate an image of a person walking on water or something like that, it can create an image for you, right? You just gave a text and it gave you back a image. This is generative. That's why it's called generative AI. It is creating something of its own. You maybe ask chat GPT, you say, can you write me a story about a boy buying a car? It will write a nice story for you. It is generating that story. So that is called generative AI. Okay, yeah, exactly. So Payal has given an example of Gemini, right? So Gemini is a model from Google. Like that, there are several organizations who have come up with their own models. So ChatGPT is of OpenAI. There's an organization called OpenAI, right? So Copilot, yes, exactly. Good. That's a good one. Meta AI has. Okay, let me ask you a fun question. Do you know which is the model that Meta's model being used in our WhatsApp? Any ideas? I don't know if you, yeah, that's excellent. You guys are pretty much well ahead on things. Yes, Llama models, right? So Llama models are the models being used right now by Meta. And what is the best part of it? Is it open pays? Is it open source or is it paid? Llama? Are you aware? Perfect, perfect. That's great, right? It's open source, right? That means you can also start using those models to build something of your own. But remember one thing, these are pretty big models, okay? And they require a lot of resources to build this size of models. And basically, if you, I'm sure you guys would have read it, but just to give you a background, they have been given a lot of information. It's like literally the whole web is an information for them. And these models have a very good general intelligence. General intelligence means they understand all the concepts. They may not be an expert in it, but they understand all the concepts. Like tomorrow you ask anything about medical field also, right? That model can answer you, or it can give you some response about that topic. It can explain you. But if you start getting into too much of details of a particular topic, then it may not be able to give you excellent or very great answers. That's because it is very generic. It has learned the basic or the high level knowledge of the whole internet. Okay, and that is where, right, you will hear these words called fine tuning, right? All these words come into picture when you have to take this general model and teach your domain to it, right? Probably, let's say you are part of a, let's say, healthcare domain. So there will be a lot of terminologies of healthcare, right? The model may not know that, right? So you have to train that model on that. Yes, exactly. The model requires large number of data set and large data sets, good knowledge it needs, right? And there is a lot of compute machine required to process that, which probably right now at least we don't get that much of opportunity to start using because they're pretty expensive and you require GPU machines for that. Yes, you require very high hardware, right, for that. And the GPU machines are kind of in a big challenge to get. Okay, big organizations have resources to get that, we are still not at that position to pick up all those things, right? So that's the point, to tell you that it's very interesting field, generative AI, and there is a lot of use cases where it can be really helpful. Okay, and it is a rapidly changing field of work. Okay, so you need to be updated on everything that is happening. Okay, can you tell me what was the recent news where there was an talk about generating videos from just your text? Do you know the model name? Hey, that's excellent, right? Sora is one of them, correct? Sora was one of them, right? So like that, now these are all interesting changes that are coming up. Sora is also again by OpenAI. So that's a model that can generate a video with just some prompts, like just some text that you give. Yes. Okay, so now coming to the question, I think somewhere in between there was a question, what is data science, right? So data science is the field of work which makes use of all these things. Okay, so it's, see, data science, it's a combination of everything. The first slide which I spoke about, right? Mathematics, statistics, computer science, everything, right? Data science is the field of work. That means you make use of all these things to come up with solutions. And you make use of all these things to come up with a solution which can help you solve the use case or the problem statement. Yeah, exactly. And a data scientist is the person who is working in that field. Okay, right now there will be lot of terminologies or lot of roles that you will hear. Okay, machine learning engineer, DevOps engineers, ML ops engineer, ML engineer, data scientist, right? Lot of these names, right? They have a very thin line between them. Okay, they have a very thin line. Yeah, prompt engineers, right? So this is a good one. Yeah. So these are all like, recent roles which have come up, and there's a very thin line between them. Okay, so it's very difficult to say this role is only for this purpose, this role is only for this purpose. It's a very thin line. Okay, so let me go to the next part. Okay, so I see a lot of questions on kind of job in data analytics as a fresher. What is the roadmap to become a data scientist, right? Okay, maybe I'll just give a quick overview on that and then I'll come to this. See, a data analytics right now requires you to be at least the core important thing is programming. Okay, you need to know programming. That is important. Okay, I'll tell you what tools probably for that, but programming is quite important. Second thing, algorithms. You need to know machine learning algorithms. Okay, and third thing, some visualization tool like Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, whatever you want, right? Like that, there are many tools. Maybe pick up one and learn it. That would help you a lot. And if you want to get into this field, right, start participating in hackathons. Okay, there are a lot of hackathons being organized. Kaggle is a one very good place for you to start, right? Kaggle has lot of competitions happening. It's a very good place to collaborate with different people from different parts of the world. Learn how they are trying to solve. Be part of the team. Contribute for that team. So that way, right, your knowledge horizon also increases. So it's a very good opportunity to start working on that. Okay. So I hope you got an idea about okay, so I hope you got an idea about what is the kind of roadmap, right? You need to start focusing on data analytics, then you need to know these fields and start participating in hackathons. Okay, that will help you a lot. Okay, now coming back to our, how does a analytics project life cycle work? Okay, so what happens is, yeah. So see, any project you take, okay, it doesn't matter. Like, when you come into an enterprise or a corporate or a world where, you are getting into the job, and when you enter into an analytics project, the general overview or overall process will tend to remain something like this. Okay, people will tweak it here and there based on the organization's requirements, but overall it will remain the same. Okay, so what is that first happens is business understanding. So you have a business understanding. So what do we do is, once someone comes to you with a problem statement, right? Just, when you enter into the jobs, right, or you enter into the enterprise, there are people with different skill sets. Okay, so everyone doesn't have the same skill set like probably that you are having. So there will be people who come from the business side who understand the business well. They may not be great at technology, but they are very good on the business side. Then you may have people from the sales side, they are very good at sales. Okay, they may not understand the technology part much. Then there are people who are dealing with data sets, so they are very good with data cleaning, data wrangling, data preparing. They are very good at that. They may not understand analytics. Okay, so like this, right? Everyone has their own expertise in that. So you cannot expect everyone to know what you're going to talk. So your goal as a person who is in analytics is to simplify the content or simplify the discussion that you're having to a layman terms, bringing it as a layman to make them understand. So how does that work is, first you need to have a business understanding. Business understanding means you basically tend to get the problem statement from the business, and then that means, no, let's say you got someone comes to you, someone from the business side tells, you what, I'm having a tough time with my customer in giving him the right information at the right time. I'm always delayed passing on the information to him. See, now this is a problem statement. There is nowhere he has told anything about analytics. He has nowhere told anything about AI. Nothing is written over there or nothing is told to you. Now, this is where your expertise comes into picture. As an analytics person, you understand this layman problem statement and convert it into an analytics problem statement. Okay, so you design that solution understanding the problem statement that is given to you. So business understanding is very important. Just knowing the algorithms alone is not going to help you, or just knowing programming language alone is not going to help you. You need to have the business understanding. So that is very important. After you understand the business part, then you start dealing with the data. So data understanding becomes very important. So data understanding means you tend to start looking at the data that is given to you and start understanding what each of that information means to us. That way, right, it helps you in making a judgment whether this data is useful for us or not. You can make a judgment based on that. And with experience over a period of time, you can just look at the data and tell whether it is really going to help you solve the problem or not. You get an idea about that. Okay, so data understanding is another important thing, and this is a to and fro. Okay, this is a to and fro step. So business understanding to data understanding to business understanding means you may keep going to and fro from this step. That means you may go back and discuss with the business, understanding the data further. You may ask them more questions about the data set. So that to and fro happens. Then after this part is done, then you go into the data preparation phase. Here what you do is, now you start preparing the data so that it becomes consumable by your algorithms, right? Or by your logics that you want to make use of. Data preparation is one of the most toughest job. All this algorithm related work is quite simple, but data preparation part is one of the most toughest job. So in data preparation, you spend most of your time because it is clearly that garbage in, garbage out. That means if your data is not of good quality, you are going to give only garbage as answers. So preparing your data properly becomes very important. So this phase will almost take 70 to 80% of your time. Like for example, let's say a project goes for 3 months. Let's say you're trying to solve one problem statement and that goes for 3 months. At least 2 months you will spend in preparing the data, cleaning the data, right? You see how much time is gone in that. Out of 3 months, 2 months are going for this. So that is going to be a most important step for us. Then comes the modeling part. So modeling part is where, as I was telling, right, you will keep hearing this terminology which I may, swap between modeling, equations. Okay, so I may keep using these terms. So modeling is nothing but creating a mathematical equation or applying a logic to solve the problem with the data set. So that is the modeling phase. So in modeling phase, again, it is a to and fro, because what happens is once you look at the model output, you realize that, okay, there is something not looking proper over here, or there's something wrong over here. So what do? Why is that happening wrong? Because there's something wrong in the data. So you go back and correct in the data. So that way your data gets improved and your results also improve. So modeling phase involves of a to and fro with your data preparation step. Okay, so this is again a to and fro that happens, and then finally you do an evaluation. So what is evaluation? Evaluation is about checking how good is your model. Okay, how good is your model? Because what you have done is you have created it in a nice environment of yours, but how do I know that when I take this and put it in the real world, whether it will work or not? That is where the evaluation happens. See, just think of our COVID vaccine, right? See, like in the COVID scenario also, right? What happened was they found out the medicine, but then they had to test it, right? To see how it may react on the general population. So they took a sample of people and they tested on them to see how it is, right? Whether there is an improvement or not. Once they tested it and once they found out that it is working out well for them, then they made it available for the general population, right? Or the whole population. See, that was what is called our evaluation phase. The same thing happens over here. You take the mathematical equation or whatever algorithm and model that you have built and you check it on a data set of yours to see how the answers are coming. Are they in line with your expectation? So you evaluate that. And there could be a scenario where you may find some more issues over here and you may end up going back to discussing with your business to understand whether it really makes sense or not. Okay, whether the results really make sense in the real world or not, you can go back and discuss with your business team. That's what happens over here also. And once everyone, all the stakeholders in this are convinced that the results are good, then you do a deployment. Deployment means you make it available to the customer or your whoever is your end user, right? So you make it available to them. So this is the whole overview of how an analytics project works. Okay, and these are, some steps may be skipped or some steps may get added, so it keeps happening. Okay. Okay, what is a what is a stakeholder, right? Stakeholders are generally the people who are kind of bringing the problem statement to you and funding your project. See, how it works is any project that you have to do, right? Someone has to sponsor, right? Someone has to give money for that to be run, because there are people who are involved, there are resources which are involved, someone has to pay for them, right? So that person is called the stakeholder. Basically the person who is ready to invest and get that done from you, or who is looking for you to solve that problem, they are called stakeholders. Okay, so this overall is a overview of how the project life cycle works. Okay. As a fresher, master requires the field of AI or data science. Okay, so I'm just taking up a few questions in between. So there is a question whether as a fresher is masters required. It's always better to be in master or do a masters. But if you want, one good idea would be to, once you finish your graduation, probably work for a year or two so that you have some kind of an industry exposure, and then you can do your masters, because that helps you a lot. Your perspective about how the enterprise world also works, you get an idea. Okay, so that's a better way. But yes, if you have a good option of doing your masters, definitely you should do it. Always higher education always helps you in a lot of ways. Okay, it's always better to do that. Ananda Krishnan, you're asking crisp DM procedure. See, in general, there are several ways of which, these project life cycles are managed. So there are many ways. Okay, but common scenario, they won't specifically follow certain things, but overall overview of the projects tend to follow a similar life cycle of the project. Okay, all right. Okay. There is also some questions coming up about being a data analyst and how do we get involved into data science? See, always the starting point is a data analyst level. When you enter the field, right, you will either start, see, although there may be some fancy names like, you're a data scientist or a junior data scientist or whatever the designation may be, you are equivalent to a data analyst when you enter the field. Okay. Why is because you are starting off your journey and data analysis part becomes very important for you. So you have to focus on that part of analyzing that. Once you analyze and once you get used to that and learning how that industry works, then you move up the roles to become a data scientist, senior data scientist, principal data scientist, solution design architect, right? Then maybe VP of analytics, and then maybe the CDO, like chief data officer or chief analytics officer. So generally the hierarchy goes like this, right? So most of the companies nowadays, earlier I would say there were, let's say when I'm saying earlier, right? See, I would say like 10 years back, not many companies had a team for analytics. There used to be very few selected companies who had a small team for analytics. But in today's world, every organization has an analytics team because the amount of data that is available, the amount of information that is there inside it, it's like a gold mine, right? They say, right, now data is the data is the real gold now, right? So data is available. Now, how do we make use of that data to get insights and information? That is where analytics, AI, everything comes into picture. Okay. Okay. So I think I'll come back to our discussion here and then maybe I'll go back to take some exams. Okay, so I mean some topics over here. So coming back to our discussion here, right? See, there are many tools available in the market. There are so many tools available. I've just put here a few of them. Like for example, I'm just picking R is one programming language. Probably you guys would have heard. Python is one other programming language, which is very commonly used in different industries and is widely being used nowadays. Okay, we will be discussing about something called Jupyter notebooks for our purpose of analyzing and all. SQL, yes, exactly. SQL is another very important thing used, right? SQL is also quite used. And several other technologies, tools are available in the market. They are open source, they are some of them are paid. So it's up to the organization to pick it up. Matplotlib. Matplotlib is a package in Python. Okay, JavaScript is useful in data analytics. Yes, JavaScript is also used for, like, see, we need to remember one thing. All these tools have a specific utilization that they are built for. Okay, like never try to, I mean, certain tools allow you to do certain things, but they may not be the right tool to be used for that. Like for example, if you use Excel for presenting, maybe Excel will allow you to do that, right? You can put a screenshot of this information or images and I can write in that Excel, but maybe that is not the best tool to do, right? Best tool would be to use PowerPoint, right? Now in PowerPoint also I can create a table and I can put some numbers, but PowerPoint is not meant for analysis work. Analysis work is good with Excel. So the point is, although certain tools allow you to do certain things additional to what they do, they are not meant for that purpose. So you should not start using them for some other purpose. You should use that tool for the specific need that it is built for. Okay, so like that, for example, Java, JavaScript, or like .NET or Angular, all these things, right? They help you in building the front end UIs and all. They may be having some modules here and there which help you to do some analytics work or some Gen AI work and all in between, but they are not properly meant for that purpose. There are different models or different softwares meant for that. You have to make use of them. Okay. IBM Watson Studio, yes, that's another very good tool. It's easy to use, on the fly you can use it. You don't require too much of what do you say, programming and all to be done, there are a lot of point and click options which you can make use of it, right? So it's another option that you can make use. Yeah. So like this, there are several tools available. Like, you all mentioned about SQL, right? SQL is meant for storing data. Now, don't take that and use it for some other purpose. What we can do is we can make use of our softwares like Python or something to connect to SQL and get the data from there. Okay, we can do that. But don't use SQL for some other purpose which is just not meant to be used for. Okay, so that's how you have several tools and technologies available for you to make use of them based on the use cases that you have. Okay, now coming to the domains. Okay, what like no, I personally have worked in different domains. Okay, I have never limited myself to a particular domain because I wanted to see the different kinds of problem statements that can be used to be solved with analytics. And one thing you need to remember is this particular knowledge or skill set need not be set for only a particular domain. It can be used in any domain. See, when I'm saying domain, it is the kind of industry, okay? Healthcare, like telecom, e-commerce, retail, right? FMCG, so many domains are there, right? Everywhere you can apply AI, analytics, everything can be applied in every problem statement here. But the thing is, as I mentioned to you all earlier, it is not about people coming and telling you, business people will never come and tell you that, can you apply this and tell me this is what will be the solution. They will never come with that. They will come with a business problem. You have to design the analytical solution for that. Okay. So coming to, I'll just pick up a few domains over here and probably give you some examples of what kind of problem statements we do. Okay. Let me take e-commerce. Okay. E-commerce is something we all are familiar with, right? So e-commerce, probably when you go into the apps of any e-commerce and under, like, you're searching for a product. Once you search the product, you will see some recommendations made for you, right? Like, you have seen this product. Would you like to see all these other products? Do you think that is just randomly they are showing? No, they are not showing randomly. They are seeing your pattern. They are seeing other buyers' pattern. Like, let's say there are hundreds of people who would have searched for that product, and maybe they would have bought along with that product some other products. So they have analyzed all those patterns, and with those they are suggesting. And you would have noticed it is very helpful for you because just imagine e-commerce has crores of products. Do you think you have the patience or time to sit and search? It's just that they are really good at identifying something similar and show it to you. You are able to buy it immediately, right? So that is where e-commerce is making use of this kind of analytical work. Let me take another example. Let's say, let me take, I'll take another very interesting one. Let's say, for example, the media. Okay. Media, you guys would be watching all these cricket matches and all these things, right? So there is a lot of analysis that happens on that also, right? Where the players need to have their ads so that there is more exposure about that brand to the people. Or in media, there is something called as market mix models. Okay, they build these equations which help you identify where I should spend my marketing money so that I can get more customers. Should I spend it on TV? Should I spend it on radio? Should I spend it on billboards, the boards outside? Or should I spend it on newspaper? Or should I spend it online? So like this, right? You are able to come up with solutions which will tell the customer, I think you should start investing more on online. You don't have much online presence. So start investing over there. Reduce your radio or reduce your billboards expense. Move that money here. And that is not just guesstimating. Okay. Guesstimating means, okay, I think, I know better about this. So you do this. It's not like that. You have data to show that to you. So that is where all these analytical related work becomes very important because now you are not talking with guesstimates, you're talking with proper data and numbers. So that is why, it is very important for us to make use of this data sets for us. Let me take healthcare. Healthcare, you can, based on the characteristics of your patient, you can tell whether this patient, what are the survival chances of this patient, or what are the chances that this patient may develop some kind of a disease. Or let's say there is an X-ray given to the radiologist, or given to the machine, right? The machine can identify where the tumor is there exactly. Okay, so this way, right, it reduces the burden on humans also, so that there is nothing missed, right? There is nothing missed because of your, chances that, you must have mislooked into that. Okay, so like that, there are different kinds of scenario. Human resource, just take HR. There are a lot of solutions where, you can give a resume and it will tell what are the chances of this person getting selected. Okay, or they can automatically tell you, given the requirement and given this person's resume, how much match is there. You don't have to read through the whole resume, and it also tells you what is the chances that this person may get selected, right? So like this, human resources also make use of it, or it can also identify which particular person may be leaving the organization soon, right? Chances of the person leaving the organization, so it tells a lot of things like that. Okay, so like this, there are n number of scenarios. I think some of your friends, or people who have joined have also given good example. Netflix, right? Netflix also makes you suggestion of what are the other movies that you can watch based on the patterns that you have watched, right? So like that, every domain has problem statements which can make use of AI and analytics and everything. Yes, trading and stocks. FMCG is fast moving consumer goods. All this kind of, your toothpaste, your soaps, all these things. Consumer goods. Okay. Now, coming to the part of just understanding a little bit in detail about these three topics I wanted to get you all an idea about. Okay, see, this field is pretty deep. Okay, there's a lot of things for you to learn, but at least I want to give you an idea of the what are the things that are important for you to start looking into. Okay, what is machine learning? Okay, we discussed about machine learning initially, right? So what is machine learning? Machine learning is nothing but it is making the computer understand or find the patterns inside your data. Correct. It's a subset of AI. And the purpose of machine learning models is you give a data to it, it can identify patterns inside that. Okay, it will help you see what are the patterns which are there. Like, what do you mean by patterns? See, just think of it like this. Let's say you have a data of rainfall. Okay, you have data of rainfall. You can forecast, or you can tell based on the past patterns of this data how much rainfall will happen or when the rainfall could happen, right? You could make use of this information. How are you able to tell about that? That is based on the patterns that you have seen, right? Spam detection, correct. Spam detection is another example, right? In your emails, there will be generally be a tab called spam, right? How is it identifying? Based on the patterns in that email, like, they are sent to everyone. It doesn't have any meaningful text which is related to you, right? It's more on the ads, so automatically it goes into a spam. That is another example of detecting a pattern. Correct. Credit card fraud detection, that is another example, right? So you guys have pretty good idea about what are the things happening in that, right? So what kind of problem statements come under machine learning? Malware detection, right? SMS blocking, all a lot of things are there like that. So when you come under machine learning, there are again two subgroups under that. One is called supervised learning and another one is called unsupervised learning. Okay, so again, I'm not going into detail about this, just want to give you a picture about it. Supervised learning is basically, if I put it in a very layman terms, just imagine there is a kid. Okay, there is a small kid and you want to teach the kid what is an apple, right? The kid has to know, right, this is an apple. How do we teach the kid to be that this is an apple? So you will tell the kid, see, this apple is round in shape, it is red in color, it is sweet in taste. Okay, so you are given some characteristics about that apple, correct? And you told that is called an apple. So what happens now next time when the kid, or let's say, another fruit you teach him like, let's say you show him a banana, you tell him it's long in shape, it's yellow in color, it is sweet in taste. So now the kid knows these two fruits based on the characteristics you have told. So next time, let's say for the kid, you are tying the eyes. Okay, you're tying the eyes of the kid and you're giving one fruit in the hand. He will touch and feel it, he will taste it. Okay, and maybe he can later on see also, right, the color of it, and he will tell this is apple. Or maybe you give him a banana, he sees the color, he tastes it, and he looks at it and he understands that this is banana. So now what has happened here is that the kid has learned the characteristics of those fruits, and based on that he or she is able to tell what fruit it is. That is called supervised learning. Supervised learning means you're teaching the machine of what is the answer, or you're telling the machine this is the answer and these are the characteristics. Next time if I give you the characteristics, can you tell me what is the answer? Yes, right? You have labeled data. This is called as labeled data, right? That means you give an answer and you have the characteristics and then you tell what is the answer. So that is called supervised learning. Unsupervised learning is very similar to supervised learning, only that now again in the layman terms, right? Just think of the kid where you are not teaching the kid what is a banana or an apple. You don't tell the kid what is banana and what is apple. You just give a bowl full of fruits. Okay. Let's say banana and apples are mixed in that. Now you're asking the kid to identify how it can identify patterns in that, or like you just tell the kid, can you do something which will make it more clean? What will the kid do? Most likely the chances are high that the kid will start trying to move all the similar ones in one place, right? Maybe the kid will move all the apples in one side, bananas on one side. So now what is happening here? The kid doesn't know that what is an apple, what is a banana, but looking at the characteristics, he or she is able to segregate them. That is called unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is you don't tell the answer, you ask the machine itself to learn the patterns and separate them, create groups, similar groups. That is what is unsupervised learning. Okay, so I hope you got an idea of this, kind of problem statement. So, in this work, right, anything that you are given as a problem statement can be broken down into either one of them. You can take either a supervised learning, you can convert it into a supervised learning or an unsupervised learning. You can do any one of them. Okay. To give you an example of supervised learning, let's say I want to identify, let's say I'm a bank, okay, and I want to find out if the person who has submitted an application for a loan, whether this person will be able to pay back my loan or not. Okay, that's an example of supervised learning. What I will do is, based on my past customers, right, I will have a big customer database, right, of having customers whom I have given loans and they have paid back, and at the same time I will have characteristics of that customer. Like, just take for example, characteristics of the customer could be what is the age, what is the gender, what is the number of family members, what is his salary, how much expense he has, how many credit cards he has, how many loans he has taken, how much savings he has. These are all the characteristics of the customer. And now I know whether this customer has paid back my loan or not. So in future, when a new customer comes, I will collect all this information and my machine learning model will be able to tell whether this guy can pay my loan or not. So this way I'm managing my risk. Right? See, for a bank, if the bank gives a loan to a customer and he doesn't pay back, that's a loss or a risk for them, right? So they try to be as safe as possible to give it to only people who will pay them back on time. Yeah, credit score, excellent. That's a very good point. Credit score is another important thing. All these become the characteristics. Okay, so that is what is your machine learning. Yes. Okay, now coming to the next area of interest. Okay, see, I told you, all right, this is a very big field. Analytics, AI is a very big field. You don't have to be a master in everything. Again, because each of them is like another one separate ocean. Okay, so everything is one separate ocean. You can take your own interest where you find it interesting and you can go deeper inside it. Like, probably I'll come to that part maybe at the end, but just to give you an idea that each topic is very deep. Okay, there are a lot of things inside that. Machine learning is a very deep topic. There are a lot of things inside that to discuss. I'm just telling you at a very high level of what kind of problems are solved. And second thing is now NLP. This is again a very interesting field of study, and it's progressing very fast. ChatGPT is one such example of NLP field, right? It's a product that has come out with NLP. Chatbots, excellent, right? These are all different things that are coming out. Voice recognition, right? Speech to text, all these things, right? They all come under these things. So NLP stands for natural language processing. Natural language processing is nothing but making machine understand human language, right? That is what is this area of study. So making machines understand our human language, and not only understanding it like how a machine would understand, but how a human would tend to understand. Like, very simple example would be, like, just think of it like, if I ask you what is your age and how old are you, I think you as a individual will be able to understand that both of them mean the same thing and you will answer them accordingly. But now, if I ask this to a machine, right, the machine may not be able to understand that you are asking the same thing. At this was like, I would say, at some point of time earlier. Now they are excellent. Okay, now they know to understand both the questions easily. Okay, so that way now machines are also able to interpret these differences. Okay, so now the machine can understand that you're asking the same thing in different way. That's all. So that area of study is called natural language processing. Okay, so making machine understand human language. Now, what are the kind of problem statements that can be solved? I think you guys already told ChatGPT is one among them, right? It's a use case where you are asking something, it is giving you an answer, it is writing stories for you, right? Siri, Alexa, all these things are also examples of that. Okay, you can also, you can also give a document. Like, let's say you have a 200-page document. You can give that document and ask it to summarize it in 200 words. It will write a summary for you. You don't have to read the whole document. It can just summarize it and tell what is the crux of that document. Or it can automatically classify the document into one of the topic. For example, let's say you have a document talking about Sachin Tendulkar. Automatically it will classify that into sports. Let's say now there is one document talking about a particular country. Okay, let's say it's talking about India, so automatically it will be able to classify it into a demography. Okay, so like this, without reading the whole document, you can classify them, you can summarize them, you can get the important context what is being talked about. So these are different ways of different ways of how NLP can be useful for you. Anything to deal with text, right? Anything to deal with text will come under NLP. Your translations are another example where NLP is being used, right? You're typing in Hindi, you're getting in English. You're typing in Tamil, you're getting in English. You're writing in English, you're getting in Tamil. All this is part of your machine translation, which also comes under NLP. Okay. So again, as I told you all, NLP is another deep study where there are a lot of things for you to learn in this. Okay. Next, I would like to tell you about computer vision. So computer vision is again another area of study where you deal with images, videos, images, anything where now this is like what teaching your machine to see the world. Okay, like how you would see an image or something in real world and understand things, you're trying to make the machine understand those things. For example, your CCTV cameras. Yeah, excellent. Self-driving cars, very good example, right? Self-driving cars. Self-driving cars, how is it happening? It is continuously capturing the video what is happening in front, and automatically it is identifying there is a human, there is an animal, there is a tree, there is a board. It automatically identifies all those things, and based on that it makes a decision of what it should do. Should it pass through, should it stop, or should it accelerate? It will try to do that. So computer vision is basically seeing the world. Okay. NLP is about our language. Yeah, face recognition. Your mobiles are having face recognition, right? You just keep it and it is opening up. That's also an example of computer vision. Okay. So now computer vision has again lot of use cases. As you guys have already told, autonomous driving, pose detection. Pose detection means like, see this person is trying to do some exercise, right? So it can tell whether you're doing that exercise properly or not based on the pose. Okay, so it is very helpful, right? Tomorrow, just imagine you have an app where you're trying to do an exercise and the app is correcting you. It's like you're having a personal trainer for you, right? If you're not doing the exercise properly, it will tell you that this position is not correct. You're supposed to do it like this. So pose detection, then image segmentation. Image segmentation means identifying any tumors or anything that are there in the images, right? Someone was asking about healthcare and all, right? See, this is another example of that. I think in your mobiles you have Google Lens, right, where you just click a picture and it finds out all information related to that part, right? Face recognition, you guys have given all good examples that way, right? Face recognition is another such thing. Okay, all right. Okay, so I think before I go to the last part of this session, which I wanted to discuss with you all, so one thing I want to tell to all of you all is that, see, it may look overwhelming with lot of things, but again, each of them is a specialization. So you may want to see which one interests you, and you can probably go deeper inside that. And maybe once you explore that and probably you find that you have stagnated, then maybe you can go into the another area of study and try to work in that as well. Like, it's not necessary that you have to know everything. Okay, you can be a expert in one particular topic, either machine learning or NLP or computer vision, anything. Or you want to try everything, there's nothing wrong in that. You can try everything as well. Can we go for data analysis after doing medicine? Yes, anytime, always. There's a lot of scope for that, right? You can use that data analysis in medicine also, and you can, it's up to you. What is your preference, right? You can go into that. There's nothing wrong in that. But always remember one thing, you need to be a more on the technology side. Okay, that's one thing I usually don't, I used to never tell that before, but now no, I see in the industry, right? If you are not technology oriented, it's going to be a challenge because this field requires you to be good in technology, and programming is a must. There's no choice. That's one thing I think, everyone who wants to enter this, they must accept it. If you really feel that urge that you can learn, you are interested in doing programming, you like doing that, then you can, pick it up much more faster. Otherwise, you have to put a little bit of an effort to learn the programming part of it. Okay. And also, let me tell you a few more things about it. Okay. I know we are almost at the end of the session, but um, just to give you a heads up on certain things, right? Again, in this analytics world, right, there are different lanes in which you can go into. One is a proper data scientist role where technology is a must. Next one is a visualization expert. Okay, you can use dashboards and all to be created with Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, Streamlit, and all those things, right? You can create all those things, which doesn't require too much of programming knowledge, but at the same time, it requires analytics knowledge. Okay, so you can take that direction of going into visualization. Then there is a direction where you can go into data engineering. Data engineering is the role where again technology is important, but you're dealing with data. You don't have to do too much of the analytics work. You're working on preparing the data sets for the data scientist. So that is also a very big field. Okay, a lot of growth, and it's an evergreen field. That's one more thing, data engineering. Then you have the project management line. Okay, project management line of work is more like you are a person who can drive a project. You may not be doing the programming, but you will be doing the project management. That means you will make sure that the end goal is reached. You work closely with the business team, you work closely with the development team. Development team is nothing but the people who are doing the coding work, right? So that's called a development team. So you work with both of them and make sure that they both are progressing further. So that's a project manager's role. So if you are interested in that, you can go in that line. That kind of role, they'll also call it as a business analyst or a project manager. You'll have this kind of names. Okay. How to stand out? Stand out. See, this part, right? I always tell you need to be very active in the development community. Like, probably you participating in the hackathons. Then probably I'm not sure if you have used, but you would have definitely looked at it, right? So GitHub, your GitHub contributions, how much are you able to contribute to the open source? These all add a lot of value. Okay, they add a lot of value. If you are a person who has been contributing regularly to the open source community, right? There are many times people don't interview you because that speaks for you. They will directly take you. Okay, so that kind of contribution builds a reputation for you. So I think you should start working towards that. Okay, so now, all right. So today's task as such, I would say, is that I'm sure some of you have used this, but probably there may be many of you all who have not used it. So I recommend that today I don't have any specific big task for you all. What I want you all to do is I have a link over here and I'm going to paste that link also over here. Okay, let me paste that link for you over here. Okay. I'm putting it for everyone. Let me see if I can do it for everyone. I don't see everyone here. 1 minute. Okay, I think I'll do it like this here. I'm putting it here. I'm giving you a link over here in the chat. Okay, hopefully you'll have got. And if in case they have not got it, could you share that also? So what I want you people to do is probably in the next session, right? We'll do some analysis of the data. But for that, we will need the tool. So what you can do is install this tool called Anaconda, and try it. It's, I think, pretty straightforward. Okay, just download for if yours is Windows or Mac or Linux, whatever it is, just download it, whatever is relevant for you on the website that I've sent you, and install it. Okay, that's all. Just do that part. If you want to explore it further, please go ahead and see if you can open a Jupyter notebook. So we will work with Jupyter notebooks. Okay, so we'll work with this Jupyter notebooks. So try to see if you can open a Jupyter notebook, and if you want, read through a little bit, right? Yeah, please feel free to use VS Code, Colab, anything. Your guys are comfortable with certain tools, please feel free to use it. But understand one thing, there are many people who are not aware of these, right? And from the perspective of the other sessions, I am going to use a Jupyter notebook which will be running on my local, right? So please feel free to use the tools that you are comfortable with in Python. Some people may like PyCharm, please go ahead, use it. Okay, whatever you want, you can use. Okay. All right. So I think that brings me to the end of this session, and I'll stop over here for today. And we will catch up in the next session, and we are going to, start looking into analyzing data. Okay, because again, there are big things. Okay, there are a lot of topics that you need a in-depth study, but we will touch base on certain things of what is required. Okay, all right, and I think I'm done from my side. Do we wrap up the session?
Yes. So before everybody leaves, they are supposed to fill in the attendance form, for which the link will be posted here and in their WhatsApp groups as well. So let's kindly wait for 2 minutes.
I'm so sorry, I was in a call. Thank you so much, sir. Has the session come to an end?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
and
I'm done for the session today. So,
Great.
uh,
Sure, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. Students, I hope you had a good session. The attendance link has been shared on the chat box, as well as we will be posting it on the WhatsApp groups. So please make sure that you fill in your attendance. And also a reminder regarding the learning plan. Please work on your learning plan by today and tomorrow and wind up. All right. So looking forward to seeing you for Masterclass 2. Updates will be sent to you via WhatsApp and via email. So have a good evening and yes, see you next time. Bye, students. You can log off from the meeting and your updates will reach you on WhatsApp as well. Thank you. So students who are still here and you have been asking different queries, um, yes, the assignment for today, your task for the day is installing the Anaconda software. So please get that done by today. The links have been shared with you. Um, your learning plan does have courses that have MCQs in the end. So please complete that in order to get your certificate. I am stopping recording for now. And I will be stopping live as well. If there are any more queries, students, you can either join in Zoom or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp and we will get back to you at least by tomorrow, today or tomorrow.